So I've got a request coming from my manager. He needs an update to the reports. The core report pack isn't quite doing it. I need something else. What I would normally do is go into Excel, download all the data and build something. But then I have to keep doing it. Is there a better way? Welcome along to our series on using Power BI as a business user. My name's Ross, the creator and founder of Geordie Consulting and Geordie Intelligence, the YouTube channel you're watching today. If you could do me a favour and like and subscribe to the channel, that would be a huge help. And if you could also add a comment, let me know what you think about this video, especially if you are a business user who's struggling to get to grips with what Power BI means for you and what you can do. I'd love to hear, and it will help us shape this video series to make sure it's as optimal and as ideal for you as we can possibly make it. So the question that came up today was around how can I produce content for my manager? Okay, and the goal that we've always got with Power BI is how do we streamline the workflows that our teams have? How can we make it easier to deliver consistent, repeatable and ongoing insights into your business? The best way is bringing stuff into Power BI. So what can we do to do that as a business user? So for today, I thought, let's start in Teams. Okay, so Teams is in so many businesses now. It's really well integrated into the whole Power BI thing as well. So here we've got this, right? Now what we can do is we can bring in app content. So I've got here the app that we've published in Power BI. So it's already here, everything is here that I need. I can see the scorecards, I can see reports, content on it. But the question we've got is, well, I need to create a new report. This isn't quite doing it for what my management team need. So what do I need to do? The simple thing is I go to Files here, okay? And I've pre-staged this. I've actually saved a template here. So this is a Power BI template file, a PBIT file, okay? Now, PBIT file in Power BI will contain theme information, so that's all the corporate branding that you've got. And what we've also got is we've got other things to support what I might need to create a new report. So what do I need to do? So all I really need to do is to open this, but I can't open it straight from here. I'm going to have to download it first. Okay, so I will download it and it's come down here and I'm going to open the file now. Right, so I've just downloaded it, I'm opening it. You can see here's a new Power BI desktop file is opening. Okay, looks blank so far, but wait, what's going to happen? Okay, it will come through. It's connected up to our data model. Okay, so it's already connected. I can see on the right hand side, I've got a list of all the tables that we've got in the core model. Okay, but I'm saying I don't really understand what those mean. What I've also done is we've put in the data dictionary. So we can actually see this is actually what is going on in each and every one of these. So we've got here schema information for the measures. This is the actual code, the DAX code that goes into the measures, which it means nothing to me. I don't understand DAX. I don't need to understand DAX. We've got the ability to add descriptions, and we haven't gone through and put all those descriptions in for this. This is one of the things we really should do. And if you're going to do this in your business, you need to make sure that descriptions are put in by the IT team so that it really helps everyone to understand, well, the data team. So it helps everyone understand what the measures are doing and the business logic that's being applied by them. Okay. We've also got in here, we've got the tables, so all the information about the tables, we've got the column information, and again, these can support descriptions, so we can add descriptions, and we can see if they're calculated columns, that potentially we can see the DAX that goes into them. These are full tables, these are a bit different, but we can see, here we go. So we've got more information in here. So the schema information is all embedded within the report pack. What we've also put in is filters, so that it becomes much easier to go through and explore the content that's being built just by picking filters. And because we've got buttons put in place, and we go back to the instructions, we can see we've got a back button and we can see we've got a filter button. These are already coded, so all we'd have to do is copy and paste them to the page that we would want. So all a person needs to do is read the instructions. But from our perspective, what we do is we go through and we say, well, page 1, and we can see these are already based on the templates that we've built for the report pack. Pick the page I want. I'm going to right click and choose to duplicate it. Bring it to the front, just because that makes sense in my mind. Give it a name. Our report. Oh, I've probably spelled it yet. Management report, say. I've spelled this badly. I forget my spelling today. I think when I'm doing these, my spelling seems to just go out the window. I'm going to make sure that we unhide it. I'm going to hide the instruction page because we don't want people to see the instruction page. I could choose to leave the data dictionary, or I could hide it. And if we look at my instructions, it says you can choose to show it or you can choose to hide it. It's up to you. We're not going to put pressure on people either way. I think there are times when having the data dictionary makes sense, and there are times when it doesn't make sense. So we'll leave it for now. And then all I need to do is drag and drop the content onto the report that I want to see. So I can choose this time to pull in, let's just say, we want all finishers by local authority. And we can see we've got text search, so we can bring those in, all finishers by local authority. Okay, and that's against all time. So then we could choose to put in dates. Okay, just let's do that. Okay, it's a terrible chart. We've got all the local authority finishers from all time, so we can see. Okay, this is why we probably wouldn't want to do this by date, but it's there. Okay, the point is that was quick, that was easy to do. Okay, once that's done, all I need to do is I can choose to publish it to my workspace. But again, remember, this is only visualization data. The core data model is staying where it is. I can choose to do the other thing, which I could save it and I could put it back on the Teams channel. I could log a ticket with our data team to say, can you please publish this to the report? They could add that in. Okay. Again, remember, I don't have access to publish to the app. I don't have access to update the app. But based on me having build rights against the app, I can now build content against the underlying data models that are there, which, yes, I will need a license for it. Yes, I need that capability, but that's an easy thing to do. It's probably not something if you've got 1,000 users and you're using like a full Fabric environment. You probably don't want to have to put in 1,000 extra Power BI subscriptions so that they can all do this. But that small number of people that you will have who will build content, it's not an issue to make sure they already have it and they have the build rights to do it. You can even allocate the build rights when they don't have the license, and then only when they need the license, you could potentially allocate them a license. There's all sorts of options that are available to you in your business, and it needs to fit the governance model that your business has. Okay, so remember, I haven't had to learn how to build new reports. I haven't had to learn how to connect to an existing data model. I've just click, click, click. It's here. Okay, we can do an awful lot more as well in terms of putting instructions in terms of being able to do sessions that we would record and place back in Teams to say, this is how you create new content. If we went through and we used all our stuff correctly, we could make sure that constantly everyone was always aware of what the measures meant and what it was they were picking. So what does all this mean? So here's one I did earlier, okay, in true Blue Peter style. Okay. Let's go back to here. Okay, so here it is. So it's really simple. So the last parkrun date, this is just Newcastle. What I could do is we could choose, let's call this Newcastle, and I could choose to then let's duplicate this. Okay, which this is where Power BI becomes very quick and efficient. Let's say we do this for North Tyneside. Okay, now this was one where it was like, we've just had a storm event, so it's ideal. Sorry, because everything I'd planned to do and shot actually ended up going in the bin with this storm event. I thought this is going to be much better. So all of a sudden we can build that report request. So we could have that my manager wants to know, what's happened, because if I look at the scorecard based on where we are now, let's go back to this report. If we look at this Northeast scorecard, we can see all the numbers went down. What happened? What's gone on? So my scorecard is playing up. Something's happened. Something's going on. You know, I can take that to the next step. I can say, I need to do something. So we've built this report now comparing the last event with the one before. Okay, so we call it last versus previous is the terminology I've put in here. But we can see we've got like information about our partner agenda, so the finishes that we've had this week. We've also got all the information, times comparing the two. We can see here for the Whitley Bay versus Rising Sun, they were both on, but we can see their numbers were both significantly lower. Well, you can't because my face is in the way, but numbers were lower. So I've got all this built. I can do this. This took me about 20 minutes to build, okay, just dragging and dropping. Most of it was thinking, well, what should I put on it? Normally, you'd have a request from management that would make sense, and it's just clear we need to do ABC. As I say, I've picked the template, I've put the visuals on it, and I can now choose. I'm going to go to hit and publish, save that. I'm going to publish it because I've only got access to publish to my workspace. I'm going to select that. It will publish it. Okay. So I've got that. I'm not going to, no, I'll just ignore that, sorry. And let's go in here to app.powerbi.com/home. Let's come out of the app. And now I can go to my workspace, and here is my report that I've just created. Okay, and then from here I can choose to share this with people, with my colleagues. For now, I could choose to build a PowerPoint from this if I needed to, quickly build something to take to my management. The options are endless for me. Okay, I've suddenly got this capability. And the best thing about this is next week, when the data set is updated, the core semantic model, this will automatically update. I do not have to do anything to keep this report up to date from now on. It just will be. Okay. So what do you think? What we've done here in this capability of template files is one that often gets downplayed. If you in your organization, for every core area that you build, you create template files, okay? You make sure that your data team are doing that within your organization. Anytime you have a request to, can you just quickly do this, quickly do that? We've suddenly got the ability to build report content that's corporately themed, corporately branded, has all the right content there for everybody, and it's instantly available, okay? For me, I can only publish as my business user to my workspace, which is terrible. We don't want content in my workspace, but the fix for that is easy enough. We make sure we've got the ability for our business users to log a ticket with somebody to have this published up. Does it need to go through scrutinization? It potentially shouldn't, because it's gone through something, you've used a template file. That's the core thing. Have you used a template? They haven't used a template. It's not going to get published. They've used a template. We'll publish it. It's not for the data team to govern necessarily what a particular team is doing. We could have an additional app. So for all we've talked, workspace, we have an additional workspace. For all we've talked about apps as a very structured report, there's no reason not to have like a more ad hoc workspace area for that tier. Okay, potentially you don't want to have that combined with the app. Okay, I'd recommend keeping them separate. But there's all sorts of things and capabilities we can do, and then I would be publishing to that shared workspace, which then means that should I leave the business, we're not going to suddenly lose access to all that content that's in my workspace, which is the biggest concern. There is no way of pulling data out of somebody's workspace when you disable their account. That's gone. So we need to get them into workspaces that are appropriate. But you're still going to have ad hoc. I could put something to my workspace, send it to my manager, say, does this make sense to you? They go, yep, that's right. Or no, can you add this? Can you do that? And we go through that iterative cycle before we publish. So the capability is there. The application will support everything you want, and it's simple and easy. Okay. So I hope that's helped. I hope you've enjoyed that. And you thought, wow, I was huddling at home while Storm Amy went through the UK. It's great that we've been able to use this, show how the scorecard has straight away shown us there's an issue, straight away be able to build report content, specifically focusing on particular areas that we might be looking at for concern. And we can then have that available immediately for other people to use and have that automatically refresh as the report content builds. Okay? So for now though, stay safe, take care, ta-da.